Homie's got a family to take care of as well. So
the way to bring him back is to follow him on Twitter. So make sure to do that.
Well, I already did that, Smacks, and it's not enough. So because it didn't make him stay for TFT, but maybe another time. As Grilled Cheese and Sentinels getting into this first series. Remember, this is not the lower finals, but the lower semifinals. It's Grilled Cheese and Sentinels. The winner of this will be taking on the loser of Cloud9 and Immortals, who will be playing after this series in the upper semifinals. And then through there, they'll be able to advance into the grand finals if you are making this lower bracket run through. Grilled Cheese and Sentinels, as we already pointed out, have very different playstyles when it comes to the mid lane. Michael can be more versatile, but clearly Steezy's comfort is just trying to get out of lane and snowball other lanes or just making picks around the map, which is why we highlighted the Ahri and the Annie. I mean, there have been many other mid laners that picked up the Ahri, but only Steezy brings out Tibbers.
For Grilled Cheese, as they are on their last ban, they've already removed the Olaf and the Camille from Shisha's pool. They could attack it even further and take away the Lee Sin, but no, it is instead going to be Senna not wanting to first pick that themselves and not wanting to give over the very powerful supportive marksman to Sentinels. They've forgotten the other supportive marksman, though, Rafa, and that's Ashe. Sentinels on red side have had a crazy priority on this champion, enough to where they're banning it on blue because they don't want to first pick it themselves. They want to pair it up with something else that's really powerful. I expect Sentinels to do the same here now that they are on red side, but by not banning away Lee Sin, it does come through as the first pick for CSJ.
It's going to be a bit of a skill check here for Sentinels by not respecting the Lee Sin ban, as Grilled Cheese respected the Olaf ban. Sheesh is not going to get necessarily his signature champion, but we know that Sheesh has also not only played Lee Sin, but he's also played other champions as well. If you want to match up against the Lee Sin, you can always attempt to stat check him with like a Xin Zhao, but you don't get to always choose your fights as Xin, because Lee Sin can always opt out if he decides, hey, you know what, I'm losing. Let me safeguard away.
It's a nice freeform dash here for this game, as we're seeing CSJ pilot this one again. No priority on the Twisted Fate at all in this draft, and I think for Sentinels, they're trying to read out that the Ahri is coming as a response to their Twisted Fate, but instead is going to be the Ziggs again for Steezy, trying to find a better matchup into
No. I don't think so. Look, you got Renekton and Riven. So Steezy is playing a bruiser in the mid lane.
Oh, that's a good call. It's Riven mid!
Riven mid? Okay! Okay! I like this. This is hot. So
I forgot to count my bruisers, Rafa, but you got the call out there. Tell us about this Riven mid, because I think you've been a big person who's excited about Riven in this game a lot.
Well, so, I mean, Riven is not only just like a really cool champion, but it's been powerful, and a lot of players, mainly from the C region, have, and Korea as well, actually. Korea is a big fan of Riven jungle, and just basically taking Riven out of the Baron lane, but this is the first time I've seen a Riven mid, though. Now, the cool thing about Bruiser's mid is that your base damage is enough to just help clear the minion waves, and then you don't even want to necessarily play for lane. You could have some kill threat if your jungler comes and then you go for a dive, but Michael on the Orianna, playing his signature champion, wants to be safe anyways, so he's going to be keeping under tower, but then if a Riven starts roaming into the jungle, into the bottom lane as soon as she hits level 6, or 5, I should say, I mean, that's a lot of burst damage that can come out. And then the mid game for Grilled Cheese is going to be super powerful. And they're not even lacking on magic damage because Nimble is flexing that Ziggs towards the bottom lane.
I think it's just such a neat adaptation for Steezy and the rest of Grilled Cheese to go for. It still fits into the same playstyle that we know and love for them, that's 2v2 based around mid jungle. And it allows for even more early game activations. You can start to stack up on those plated steel caps and cloth armors and such to survive this 2v2 now. It's easier to plan around it, but you still have just so much base damage in this early game to play around with. But, you know, Rafa, The way to play into this is just play at a distance and zone with Orianna, and that's what Michael is doing a great job of already in this one.
Michael's going to have a better time in lane just because of range advantage, while Steezy doesn't have access to all levels. But look at this. Sentinels going for an early dive with the Orianna backing up as well. They have this wave pushing in. They can pull off this dive on the Tech Shi. Barrier not going to even be close to enough. First blood goes over to Sentinels.
Solid dive for Sentinels. They give over some priority to the Riven, but it's perfect to do this as well. Riven, not the same scaling threat as another one of those selfish laners that we see typically, like the Ziggs. And while Steezy's very far forward now, he might get caught out. There's a flash forced onto him. This is not very good news for Grilled Cheese, who want to get their early game started soon.
Yeah, it's a good thing that CZ flashed right there. Otherwise, Sheesh was about to get in range for that audacious charge and then 3-talent strike. He could have easily followed up even after the flash, just thanks to the slow as well as the knockup. CZ keeping his HP high enough so that he can get another wave push in, while Michael went for the reset, picking up the last chapter in the Blasting Wand. Is just shy of 1,000 gold for that Luden's power spike. But now Steezy going for a roam is level 5.
Something really cool about Sentinel's squad as well is they have this very feast or famine champion in the Fiora. Now flashing away from the gank, though, will be punished immediately. And just like you said, Rafa, as soon as you get these roams off, as soon as you hit level 5, get the ultimates down, Steezy and CSJ, where are they? Anywhere but mid.
Steezy's just got to get out. You know, the funny thing is that Sentinels and Michael, especially getting that roam off with Sheesh off of that level 3 dive, it's easy looking at that like, they copying my whole freaking flow, man. Word for word, bar for bar. Just cue the whole, the meme, man. And now Steezy's got to make sure that he can answer that back. As picked up, Phage and the Kindle Gem making towards that Black Cleaver first purchase. More than likely a Death Stance to follow up.
Here it comes. Boom.
Boom. Thanks for the poke.
Yeah. MTS gonna feel nice. Maybe oh wow. Actually that ate the honey fruit. Nice stuff from Rest. Okay. Doesn't really lead to a kill or anything, but maybe will later. It's Rest now underneath this turret, getting kicked into the wall, getting knocked into the wall.
Nice.
And just way too much crowd control for him to deal with. No flash, no heal available.
Dragon's Rage into Satchel Charge into the concussive blows. I mean, poor Rest doesn't even get a chance to even try and escape. But at that point, when he's already low HP before the execute, like, there's no point in burning summoners here. Sentinels are going to go for Rift Herald off of the amount of members that went for that bottom lane dive. Grilled Cheese will be able to secure the first dragon. Rift Herald going over to Sentinels, though. I imagine when already 4 people from Sentinels on the top side of the map, they can look for this Rift Herald crash into the Baron lane. Another Ash Arrow lands onto Tech Shi. Audacious charge onto Steezy. They got to make sure they kill Tech Shi, though, and nice Wild Growth is going to keep Sheesh alive. Steezy has the Blade of the Exile popped. Wind Slash to follow, not quite yet. The rest of the members of Grilled Cheese come up, but the Baron turret is already destroyed, Smacks.
Nimble walked all the way up from the Dragon Lane to get there. A world's journey for the little Yordle like him, called Lord of the Rings at this point. Doesn't get to drop the ring into the fiery furnace, but he does miss out on a bunch of these minions in the Dragon Lane as we see Rest able to impact the map from the Dragon Lane as the arrow comes through once more. I think this is one of the coolest things about the way that Sentinels prioritize this pick, as you can see it weaving on in again. Another expert dive. Sheesh even gets to survive, and that's first brick for Sentinels.
It looked even a little scary for Sheesh as he went onto Steezy instead of just pile driving the extra burst damage onto Tech Shi, but I wonder if that gave enough time to basically tell Steezy, hey, back off. You can't get in this fight. Being able to also knock back Tech Shi with that Crescent Guard since he had already challenged Steezy in that 2-man dive. Now Sentinels, all this action, Grilled Cheese has been able to equalize it, though, thanks to their efforts not only ganking MTS with Steezy as well as the bottom lane dive. Gold lead is somewhat even, just shy of 1,000 in the lead for Sentinels. So nowhere near enough to really say that the game is over. And not even to say that the Sentinels are commanding in the lead. It's pretty much equalized.
Grilled cheese, though. They've got a surprise gank from CSJ. Nice broken wings onto both members of Sentinels, but Beg's still alive. Nice shield secures it, and another arrow. Crazy shots there from Rest. That's 3 in a row cross map.
Dude, Rest has been killing it on these crystal enchanted arrows, man. Both today and yesterday, as Alka Battery, I think he called out for Sentinels that, like, man, I really just like this Ashe pick for Rest.
Yeah.
He's just, we've seen him kill it on the Kaisa, but now on the utility pick, even if he's mid lane, this arrow comes in right in the nick of time before the last resonating strike could have came out from CSJ, potentially could have finished off Sheesh, saves his life, and all 3 get out.
Truly ridiculous stuff from the Dragon Laner of Sentinels. Is we're seeing a pretty creative build from him being used again, a more poke-oriented one, just built to cast Volley and Enchanted Crystal Arrow as much as possible. And it's not as much DPS, but when you draft these, you know, AD-based frontline bruisers like the Fiora and the Xin Zhao, and then you have the burst of Orianna, it works really well. And I think for Sentinels, they have had some issues where they're drafting compositions with this Ashe that don't have enough damage. That was one of the ones that we got to see against Immortals, where they had a comp that could never really kill the front line of the Immortals squad. But this is very, very different. You actually are putting a lot of damage into the agency of MTS, and Michael playing that signature champion too makes this work super well. Oh, not quite 4 for 4, but would have been awesome.
That would have been an insane Ashe ulti ratio right there. And to add on top of MTS and Sheesh being powerful bruisers that have rushed Trinity Force, you know, on top of it, Beginnings is playing Lulu, which is one of the better Enchanter supports that you can play to just buff up a bruiser front line, or even champions like Xin Zhao and Fiora who just want to get in your face and fight. And might need a little extra help, as Sheesh is going to come in for a little flank around the back door. Sheesh is trying to just burn down CSJ, looking for one more resonating strike, but Sheesh flashes over it, gets in range to be able to charge into CSJ's face. MTS still fighting up to Steezy, another enchanted arrow, but it's just right point blank, locks down Nimble. He's able to flash away before getting locked down by the rest of Sentinels, but Sentinels so far are starting to slowly but surely pull ahead in these skirmishes, Spags.
And the way that all these members of Sentinels are playing these team fights is so cool. And Sheesh, another great flank on Xin Zhao. MTS on the run from the Crocodile. Tekshi has a lot of mobility and a lot of damage, as it turns out. Great Ruthless Predator gets the stun down, and you can't win that 1v1 after that. We talked a lot about this matchup just yesterday, the predictive nature of the riposte usage, and looks like MTS got the worst end of that trade there.
He also didn't have Grand Challenge, whereas Tekshi had Dominus. So ultimate versus no ultimate, pretty hard to win that matchup when you're missing out on a lot of the healing thanks to that Bramble Vest that Tekshi has picked up. Grievous Wounds doing a great job and just making sure that MTS isn't being a nuisance and healing up so much. As Michael is feeling a lot of the pressure right now, not necessarily the love. Needs to wait on Beginnings to come in, as another arrow's going to be fishing for it, but I don't think anyone is really in range to follow up in the ultimate, but it's there for style and flair and to add up on the actors.
You know, if we're keeping track, I think that's 5 for 6 right now for Rest.
Correct.
That's a pretty nasty batting average. 8-5.
Can we get production to do a graphic for that specifically? Whoa! Okay, Michael kills Steezy. Now, he should die to CSJ. He literally just needs to...
Okay.
CSJ was just like, you know what? I don't even take any chances with auto attacks. I'm just going to kick you in the face, back of the head. Michael goes down, but he can feel good about that one, being able to win out the 1v2.
Michael is just so crazy on this champion. This is why we've been hyping this up so much. That's 6 for 7, by the way. You know your decimals well enough? What's 6 for 7?
Bruh. I'm a caster, not a mathematician.
All right. We'll get back to that later after a look at the calculator. Stove on the run. There's a teleport here. Now Sheesh has to walk past the Glacial Fissure. Lots of members on top of him. I don't think he's going to be tanky enough to survive all of this. Took a while, though. Wow.
I was through Wild Growth and Crescent Guard. Sheesh could not survive the 4-man Goon Squad, as you get a chance to see how Michael was able to cleverly outplay
yeah.
this 1v1.
Slow it down. Here we go. Michael. The shielding comes in, and then he gets to dodge out thanks to the shockwave repositioning. And you saw that auto attack in the air. You saw the Riven Sword getting raised up. Just wasn't there in time. And Michael, with the fast fingers, gets to survive.
Steezy was ready to smite him down, and then Michael said, "We'll shind Nani." Sentinels still not quite soundly ahead. It's been really back and forth when we look at it. Now, this has been probably the closest game outside of the game 3 between, I want to say it was Johto and Grilled Cheese yesterday. That was a banger of a game. I got to the point where Sparkle was trying to build Solari Charge Blade Infinity Edge on Rengar, and then realized, crap, I just don't I don't live long enough to actually get assassination off, and then was forced to build an Iceborne Gauntlet. At that point, I was like, oh no, this is gone all awry. But here, Sentinels and Grilled Cheese, only game 1. Both teams want to make that lower bracket run through, and neither member is letting an inch go to waste.
Going to be all eyes on this next Drake fight in 20 seconds. Both teams have one apiece, but Sentinels have the one that's more oriented around combat. Now Sheesh in a 1v1 with Steezy. That's a lot of damage from Steezy, even without the ultimate popped. MTS in the area now, thanks to the teleport. They get zoned off by the Ziggs bomb, and that's a pretty large chunk of your health bar can take it away for Sheesh. That might have been enough for Grilled Cheese to just take this confidently.
A nice explosive minefield from Nimble is gonna. It forces Michael to take about a quarter of his HP to walk through the choke point, but the rest of the Sentinels are brute forcing it. They feel confident to be able to just take this fight. Wild Growth is going to give an AoE knockup before MTS goes down. CSJ finds a resonating strike onto Beginnings, but the rest of Sentinels, despite losing on an MTS, they're able to push back the rest of the members of Grilled Cheese. They already knocked down Nimble and CSJ, and no jungle on the side of Grilled Cheese means that Sentinels have this dragon for free.
Stacked up with all of this AoE crowd control, Wild Growth into Shockwave was immaculate for the members of Sentinels. However, this trade isn't completely one-sided because the teleport came through for MTS. He joined the team fight on the split pushing carry and did leave the Baron lane wide open. That was another turret taken by Grilled Cheese. They get to stay in the gold game. So there's another teleport.
Well, Sheesh wanted to fight the 1v1, but then the teleport comes in, and then suddenly there's 3 people ganging up all on Sheesh. That's not cool, man. Where's the honor in that?
Unfortunate for Shisha. It's another time where he's found himself in the middle of a bunch of different members that are not on his team. Now that he is dead, there's no smite for Sentinels, but that doesn't mean that they can't team fight. They're gonna try anyway.
Shockwave is available, Smacks. Michael could either just annihilate a bunch of people, and Steezy recognizes this. He's trying to bully Michael out and away from the Baron. 1,200 on, but they can't finish the Baron. MTS is just in the back line, and now just picking off the stragglers thanks to all the AoE damage, both from the Baron and Michael, and they were able to maintain the Baron aggro. Beginnings, almost willing to give his life just to hold it down, and Sentinels say, thank you for the leash, Grilled Cheese. We'll take that for free.
Have you ever seen such an effective flank from a Fiora? I haven't. That was so nasty from MTS. He is such a great distraction, and Grilled Cheese, they learned the hard way just how much damage Baron Nashor deals to you when you're all grouped up on top of it. With the Orianna ball just diving into that backline as well. Oh man, it's so ridiculous. And now all these structures are falling for Sentinels. You can see that lead that wasn't very large before, it's all of a sudden exploded as now they got to run away.
Massive damage from the Mango Inferno Bomb. Steezy onto the back line, lands the third cast of the Broken Wings right onto Beginnings, takes him down, but it's not enough to eliminate Udall. Rest is able to follow up as well to make sure that the mid laner for Grilled Cheese is eliminated, and now they are on the counter engage. Sheesh does not go down.
Wow.
Sentinels have 4 members strong. It's an ace for Sentinels, and that's going to be game 1 of the series.
We've seen just how tanky Sheesh has been throughout the entire game, and while he doesn't have a
in game 1, Sentinels banned out Varus, Gragas, and Nami. Now, Grilled Cheese, They can opt into taking away either something like the Ashe away from Rest to prevent him from being able to assist on initiation and picks even when he's not there for the dive, or they can continue just holding on to the Camille, Olaf, and Senna and look to run it back and just have a different game plan going into game 2.
I was really surprised that they didn't ban Ashe for grilled cheese. I think that's something that they should look to do, because while Rest wasn't the big carry, and he wasn't the person who was popping off very clearly in the team fights, in most of them, the utility that this champion provides, and that it opens up for Beg to play too, because I think they're very keen on locking in Lulu with it. They've done it every single time that's available. I think banning Ashe maybe over Senna or maybe over Olaf either. Both would work quite nicely. So the Nami's going to remain as the ban for Sentinels, and we're expecting a run back as long as grilled cheese don't change anything. Sentinels don't have to either.
With the way that Sentinels are taking their time, they've actually opted into banning out the Ziggs. Now, the reason why this change comes in is I'm assuming that they do not want to run into another essentially triple bruiser top side of the map. Yeah. And Nimble being on Ziggs means that he was kind of acting in a similar manner of Rest, where he's not really necessarily interacting with the fights that are occurring, but he can always join because Make Inferno Bomb, not completely global ultimate, but long range, can participate and just chuck an ultimate ability, participate in the fight, get some AoE damage, and also prevents the huge wave clearing that comes out from grilled cheese, because Sentinels did have a difficult time of trying to siege down turrets while Ziggs was still available. They locked down the Varus ban, though, so this means the Gragas is open this time around.
Now grilled cheese have an option. They can go for the same Lee Sin, they can go for the Gragas, or they can be the ones to take Senna, as it was not banned away this game. They give open Lee Sin to Sheesh, though, and after banning a couple of his other most prized junglers, I feel like that is surely going to happen at this point. You don't necessarily need to prioritize your support for Beg anymore, so perhaps MTS goes for
here it is
also, but nope, just locking in Orianna again. Michael Udall just saying, hey, you didn't respect me enough to ban this champion? It's been banned in the past 2 months, and I'm just going to pick it again. I'm just going to smurf on you again. So I like this one for Michael a lot.
Well, do we get the Ari Bomb or the Annie Bomb? Technically, Twisted Fate is also available. That's However, true. Grilled Cheese have locked in Gragas Xin Zhao. Now, we know that the Xin Zhao should be going to CSJ. Now, the Gragas could be a pick for Stove, and this could be the good old Senna Gragas lane that we first saw pop up in Europe and was popularized over there. It's not necessarily a Senna Nasus combo, but it works in a similar capacity. Looks like Sentinels will answer with Renekton and Kai'Sa.
Kai'Sa for Rest. Again, this has been the backup to the Ashe, and it puts Rest in a more carry position. We actually get it! It's Singed time! Oh my god. Okay. I'm so glad that we actually get at least one game of Tekshi Singed. I can feel it now in the Twitch chat. The copy pasta is coming. What is it? I feel like the cheese is less grilled and more singed.
The singed cheese coming out from Tekshi. Oh man. Singed changes up the way that teams have to play into a composition now, like grilled cheese have, because normally when you have champions like Kai'Sa and Renekton and Lee Sin, y'all just want to go in. Everyone wants to dive bomb them. You want to hit Nimble in the back line. But then suddenly you start smelling something. You're like, what is that? It smells like singed cheese. And then suddenly your HP is dropping. And you're like, oh god, what is that? And it's the poison. Because Tekshi is just running around on his surfboard. Shout out to Beyonce and Jay-Z. And just really just causing so much trouble for you in these skirmishes, in these team fights. And it's something that, like, if you're not used to playing Singed, you don't notice it until it's too late.
This champion is just so funny. I'm so glad that we're getting it, because the it's really just everything about him that makes it difficult to play melee range. Because yeah, you've got the poison, the don't chase singed mantra remains true as it has for the past 11 years, really. But the flip as well is so solid, and you get to do a bunch of different things that are completely unique to him. And against MTS on this Renekton, yes, you are giving over a really powerful champion just right off the bat, but the cool like uniqueness is something that can really throw a wrench into the plan. Another interesting thing that we just saw happen, Rest and Beg started Gromp. Kind of cool. They get more gold and experience just off of that jungle camp, and they get to come to lane at level 2.
It's something that we've seen in it, you know, if you know the history of League, there is a meta at the time where bottom laners would start out one of the junglers' camps. I think it was the Krug camp.
Yeah.
Just to get a little bit of XP because it was so free and easy. And look at this! CSJ and Steezy matching and tracking Sheesh this time around in the jungle path, saying, you know what? We have the champions that can stat check you. Oh, but Sheesh lands Resonating Strike! Oh! Whoa! Sheesh picks up First Blood! Sheesh!
The flash slam, too. That was smooth. And the Sonic Wave connecting as well. Sheesh punishing Steezy on the signature Ahri pick in the early game. That's so cool, man. And again, Sentinels have this strong early game plan of how they want to shut down Ahri. I really love this as we get to watch Sheesh's mechanics one more time.
Safeguard over the wall, lands the Resonating Strike, goes in, and then says, all right, Ignite is ticking down. I don't want to walk away without getting the kill.
Yeah.
Goes in
that was
Tempest.
Tempest Flash, too. That was casting the ability. He held his hand up in the air before the flash came out. Very quick on the mechanics there, Sheesh. I'm appreciating the Lee Sin love. One other thing that I think that's really cool about the Gromp start that I want to bring this up again because I think this is genuinely just a really nice adaptation. Is they're going for the Gromp again. This is not a very valuable camp to take as a jungler. You're playing a lot of melee AD champions in the jungle, and with the cleave auto attack nature of this game, you get a lot more value out of taking the AoE camps because they're a lot easier to take. And Krugs give you the most gold out of every camp as well, so you want to be going for those all the time off cooldown. That Gromp just stays alive the entire game, unless you send your laners to go kill it. And I really love an adaptation like this, just getting all of these resources, maximizing them on the map, and you can see even though it's just 1 kill to 1, Sentinels have a slight gold lead because of that nice maneuver that they're going for again.
Yeah, you look for the goal difference between Rest and Stove, since Nimble is playing the Fasting Senna while Stove is picking up all the gold in this lane. It's a solid 500 gold lead just off of picking up 2 Gromps right now. Normally, when you're playing Kai'Sa Lulu, you do have a kind of a bully lane advantage, but Xenogragas is notorious for just being so damn hard to push out thanks to the sustain both from Piercing Shadow as well as just Gragas' innate sustain. They're not going to waste their time trying to go for harassed. They're going to maximize the time, shoving out the lane insanely fast, and then going off the Gromp. And all this pressure from the bottom lane allows Sentinels are going to be able to pick up this dragon for free. CSJ. Oh, well, he still wants to go for the fight. She just says, you know what, I want out. Dragon's Rage away, but explosive cast follow-up from Stove picks off beginnings, and now Rest is on the run, and there's Tekshi with the flip. Come and drink a drink of this poison, baby. That's going to be Rest going down.
Nice stuff from Grilled Cheese. The full team roamed down. They were prepared for a fight. Oh, no!
Oh, God! Turn off the camera! Production! Roll, next observer! Oh, God! just turn away! Oh!
It's not the game for mid lane mechanics, maybe.
It's okay. People are nervous. There's a lot of stakes at hold, and sometimes a missed ultimate or skill shot will occur. It's okay. We move on. She picks up the Rift Herald, and life continues, Max.
Life continues. It moves on, whether you like it or not. Sentinels They may have missed Shockwave, but they do get both neutral objectives in the first 5 minutes, and I think this is going to balloon that gold lead that we mentioned before, because typically you see that trade Drake for Rift Herald. Sentinels get both thanks to that fight that Grilled Cheese went for. They get a couple of those kills and maybe another one. Wow.
Beautiful stuff from Sheesh.
Yeah.
See, that was the oh my wa Moshinderu moment right there, you know? Steezy was so focused on trying to get Michael, he didn't see Sheesh come right from the back line. As CSJ says, get off my turret, guys. I gotta protect this.
Singe just making huge strides in the mid lane. That's so funny. Just gigantic. There are seconds where he's just not even on the ground. This is a very fast champion that we're getting from Tekshi with Ghost.
You know, you say ground, and I immediately realized that there's one powerful tool in Singe's kit, which is right there.
There it is.
It worked ground. That prevents Tekshi from, or usually any opponents from being able to get out with the dash, as it holds MTS long enough. He's still really beefy to take down. Had to burn Flash and the Dominus, still held on to the barrier. But in these team fights with champions like Lee Sin, like Renekton, and even Kai'Sa to an extent, who all have some type of mobility spell, you throw down that adhesive, no one can cast summoner spells. No one can cast their mobility spells, and that's great to have to neutralize them.
Not to mention if you flip them into the goop, it gets a nice root on top of being grounded. So just great stuff all around for Singed if you can play this well. And we know Tekshi is a very skilled Singed player. It's one of the champions that got Grilled Cheese to this tournament in the first place. Now qualified for top 4. They haven't pulled it out in the entirety of the major, but they're on the potentially last game. They've already qualified. They've got to do it. It's easy. Oh my god.
Oh, look at this burst damage. She's flashing in after the safeguard, just be able to close the distance, not giving Steezy a chance. And sheesh! He's just popping off in this Lee Sin, man.
2-in-1 game. That's a lot of respect from you, Rafa. I know that's not something that you say very often, but
I know
when the time comes.
Dude. First of all, like, I appreciate Sheesh whenever he makes plays, but if he's doing it on Lee Sin, you gotta do it 2 times for the homie, man. That's Lee Sin's my favorite champion. Oh god. Nimble's dead. Don't do it. Don't do it to him, Sheesh. They've already had enough. Let them live. 6,000 gold ahead for Sentinels at 8 minutes into the game, and Steezy wants to look for more.
Nice charm with the flash from onto rest, but not enough damage thanks to Beg's utility. Now both members are trying to get out as Sheesh smites him down. Now in a duel with CSJ, can Rest avoid the melee auto attacks from the spear? He can. A double kill for Kai'Sa, and Sentinels get all of those kills and more as the Drake has just spawned.
Bro, it's just a sheesh gap, man. He's playing this Lee Sin so freaking well. And Sentinels, every time that Grilled Cheese try to go for a play, the Sentinels are just right there to counterattack or just even equalize the odds. First game smacks, it was neck and neck. It was barely a 2,000 gold lead at most before the game finally collapsed around the Baron, but now, not even 10 minutes in, Sentinels have a commanding lead of about 8,000.
This is the lead that they won the game with in game 1, and they already have it in 9 minutes. Brutal stuff for Sentinels. They have taken all of the structures, all of these kills, and look, why not go for another fight? You're on grounded, though.
Sheesh already used Dragon's Rage. However, 3-on-2, a little too much. Oh, sheesh. Okay, I know you have GA, buddy.
He's going.
But, oh, what?
He's going.
Takes down Steezy. GA is going to be popped. Does he have... Oh, but the worked ground is going to cause a lot of trouble for him because he cannot cast Resonate Strike. The shield from Michael Udall is still not enough to save Sheesh from going down, but they're able to trade one back onto CSJ, and Tekshi will run away.
Tekshi is showing us how strong this goop is, though. You do not want to fight in that range. We're seeing just how difficult it is for MTS and Sheesh to operate with all of their dashes. And, I mean, Sheesh has it the worst, right? You can't cast your first ability or your second ability. It's pretty bad news bears for him. But we're seeing that even still, Sentinels have just such a gigantic lead, and the Guardian Angel makes it so difficult to actually kill Sheesh, even in a 2v3, or what at the end was a 1v3. Grilled Cheese, they can't really scrap together a lead even off of that, and when you're struggling to get picks in outnumbered fights as well, you have to resort down now to stealing away these objectives with smites. CJ, he's got Flash, but you have a lot of trouble doing that and getting into a pit with Sheesh just kicking you out.
Hiku! Well, Michael Udall might be yelling for some Hiku right now because this is a lot of people in the top lane from Grilled Cheese. Rest is trying to outplay it, though, already using the Killer Instinct, but now there's 4 members dedicated from Grilled Cheese. There's 2 members from Sentinels pushing onto the bottom lane, picking up this second Dragon tier turret. Going to be unlocking a lot of structures, and despite losing out on Michael Udall, Rest and Beginnings are able to make it out alive, and now they might be looking to break open the base.
They are going to do just that. There's no recalls coming through. Only CSJ has arrived, but he's so low he can't go in and stop this. 11-minute inhibitor turret taken out, and Grilled Cheese just can't respond. They only get the 1 kill. Maybe a mid turret, but they can't do anything more. They can't take away Baron, and oh no, I don't even think they get the mid turret.
Steezy has been routed off, has to flash away, still has a Spirit Brush available. Sheesh looking to close the distance with Safeguard, has to flash away, but huge shockwave from Michael Udall will clump up CSJ and Stove. More flashes are being burned. The rest of the Sentinels are looking for the chase. They're on the pursuit. Rest picks up a triple, looking for more, picks up the quadra, and Sentinels picks up the ace. The Bear might be the next objective on the table, and with that, it is a 15,000 gold lead. Smacks, you have to imagine that Sentinels are moving on.
Get you a Dragon Laner that can do both, Rafa. He can get the quadra kills on the assassin carry Kaisa, and he can play supportive. He can be the stay-at-home bot laner on Ashe as well. This guy knows no bounds with the champion pool, and it's so cool every single time for Rest. Quadra kill, man? Can you believe it? Sentinels, they've got just such a huge lead at this point. Grilled Cheese have fought valiantly, but you can't overcome the scaling power of a team that's been together through thick and thin.
Can you just take a look at the gold leads on each of the individuals? Overall, like, it's 16,000 for Sentinels, but 5,000 of that is on the jungler and Sheesh, as he's just opting into the 1v4, almost takes out Steezy and gets out away with it clean. Michael flashing, potentially looking for that, a command dissonance. Doesn't find Steezy, but the Dawning Shadow is not going to keep Nimble alive, as he's already been routed off by Rest, going in with the Killer Instinct once again, looks up for the second triple of the game. Oh, come on. Go for the Penta. Don't end the game quite yet. Just rack up the KDA, guys. And it looks like she says, you know what? It's time to move on. Let's close it out here. Let's take our